what's up everybody? Grab you some chicken tenders and a blanket and pop in. This is our spoiler discussion for Gone Girl. If you haven't seen the movie yet, please go watch our non-spoiler version somewhere in this area right here. Just click on it right there, click over there. Then after you see it, come back and watch this because we're about to spoil this movie like crazy. And this is the kind of movie
you don't want it spoiled.
Yeah, but after you see it, you'll want to talk spoilers with somebody. So if you don't have any friends, this is the channel for you.
We don't have any friends. I mean, that's why we're here.
That's why we make these videos. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, let's talk about the first half before the big reveal.
So first things first, we got the pleasure of seeing the beautiful digitized offset cross-screen camera angle where it was out of focus for the first 10 minutes. And honestly, my first impression was, wait a minute, are they going for like an artistic sort of fuzzy out of focus view trick on this
Turns out our theater was just messing up on us.
Yeah, somebody up in the real room over there. Finally, a couple people walked up, they got that fixed. But it came out, I will say, you mentioned in the non-spoiler review, which you should have already watched, right. That the cinematography was beautiful. Yes. I have to agree, and especially in the beginning, you really notice there's really some beautiful shots to this film. Just some of the, it captures some of the more, I guess, tender, kind of intimate moments. And the shots that they caught there,
like with the sugar storm?
The sugar storm, one of the opening shots where she has her head on his chest and he's petting her head and he kind of does that.
Oh, and yeah, he's like,
talk about pulling her brain out.
Unspool her brain.
And that to me really kind of set the tone for the film because it's a picture of a beautiful woman, a
couple tenderly loving each other.
Yeah, a beautiful scene going on, beautiful imagery. And then words that seem very creepy. Yeah. And you're like, how do I reconcile what I'm hearing with what I'm seeing?
Yeah, it makes Ben Affleck seem like a total bad guy, right?
Yes, right off the bat. And
you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's crazy, you know?
Yeah, and right from the trailers, you're thinking, okay, so he killed his wife, how does he get away with it kind of thing? Like, that's what I think a lot of people assume.
I was thinking, now, David Fincher film, probably not.
Right.
But, you know, could be, who knows?
Could be a twist, could be a double twist, like... They fake you out, but then it really is. Who knows?
Yeah. But whenever he first walked in, whenever he first walks into his house and sees the thing, he's like, Amy?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe he was just...
putting on a show just in case.
Yeah, anybody was watching him or something, I don't know. But yeah, so that first like 45% of the movie was pretty much, every beat was in the trailer. The cops are suspecting him, obviously. He doesn't know, he's like figuring out how to react, how to play the media and stuff, and the thing.
The crazy neighbor calls him out. Where's your wife, Nick?
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
The crazy neighbor.
But then the big surprise was that like when they found out he had a girlfriend, that was a big surprise to me.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I did not see that coming at all.
And that I think is the first point at which you, as the audience member, whether you're suspicious that he killed his wife or not, any semblance of rooting for him goes away, and you're like, what a jerk. This guy's the bad guy. Whether he killed her or not, we want to see him go down. That's not cool. And you collectively with the audience or the crowd watching him in the film, you as the audience member, you turn against him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it sets the stage, like just further like gives you fire on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really know. You're just vacillating back and forth, you know, and that just really pushed it farther, you know.
It's not a clear cut.
Yeah, more polarized. Yeah. I think that was the biggest surprise that, wasn't in the trailers, because...
Leading up to the second act.
Leading up to, like the big reveal, whatever. Oh, and here's the thing. The whole time, they're intersplicing the diary, her reading her diary.
Right.
But then after they reveal that, oh my gosh, she planned this whole thing.
Yeah, she ain't dead.
She's not dead, she's alive. She's in a Yugo or something.
Yes.
Driving down the highway. Then you realize, wait a minute.
Good plug for Craigslist, by the way.
Oh yeah, they mentioned that. Oh, there was some weird product placement.
There was. There was like Walmart and the KFC.
And then KFC And he wasn't walking into a Walmart.
No, it was just Walmart, KFC, next scene.
He didn't eat KFC? Yeah, it was so weird.
All I could figure was, are they trying to say these are like two images of like Middle America? I mean, what was the purpose of that shot?
I mean, obviously just...
Contractual obligations.
Brash, just brash product placement. They're like...
It was short enough where they were trying to go for subliminal, because it wasn't like a 3-second stare at it. It was like, Walmart, KFC, next scene. It was very quick.
Yeah, and then it's like him in his kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, where did you get the KFC? Where are your groceries from Walmart? What the heck was that about? But anyway, yeah, so the whole time you're reading the diary, you're hearing the diary, right?
Yeah.
Then you realize, oh my gosh, she planted the whole thing. Well, then that makes you rethink everything that you've heard from her diary. You know what I mean?
It's like, was any of this real?
Yeah, was any of that?
Because at first you're thinking this is like narration to the past, when she wrote this in the past, because obviously she's dead. But now she's alive, and you're like, wait a minute, she's telling us the story that she's trying to tell.
Right, and then that's when you realize, oh my gosh, the unreliable narrators here.
Who do I trust?
Yeah, did they even did their relationship really go bad? You know, because of the recession. Did they ever have that honeymoon phase where their relationship was
were they
good?
ever happy?
Yeah, were they ever happy? Did that stuff ever happen? Did they ever actually get torn apart? Or did she just get bored?
Yeah, because it becomes very difficult to differentiate what we know is reality. Like, for example, he has a girlfriend. Okay, we know he has a girlfriend, so that tells us a little bit about it. So at some point in the past, he started cheating on his wife. So obviously things weren't great. At some point, were they always terrible? Did they just get terrible? Is this a phase? Is this recently? How long ago? So it really starts to get difficult. And especially as some of the flashbacks with the accusations from was she the sheriff or detective?
The lead detective.
Okay, the detective, who also, I think, I don't think we mentioned her in the spoiler-free review, but I thought did a great job as well.
Yeah, she was good.
She and her little deputy, Barney Fife there.
Oh, yeah, what the heck?
I thought he was really good as kind of the judgmental putz, you know?
I guess that's what I felt. That's what his role was for, but I felt like the blonde news lady was kind of filling that role too. You know what I mean?
She was the Nancy Grace, you know, which is another thing too. The way they used the sort of public image angle of everything. You know, you see in the trailers that he's doing the awkward smile or whatever in front of the poster, and there's billboards going up and all this. And that's a very big part of the story, because...
But they work it in subtly.
They do, and you don't realize how key to the story it is until you see Amy's sort of shift in her acceptance of the new Nick, based on the way he presents himself to the public. Because it's all about her crafting the guy that she's with into who she thinks he should be. And it's very cerebral. And you see this big picture stuff is all very key into how things turn out.
Man. So, anyway, so whenever... okay, so you had the big reveal, right? And then that whole side story of her at the apartment, I was like, where is this going?
Yeah.
When, she gets stolen from. First, she was going to kill herself.
Yeah, which was
weird. I was like...
really psychotic, because I'm like, man, she's pretty committed.
Yeah, but it's like you planned all this out, like, just purely out of spite, and you were going to... And your end game is to kill yourself to, like, ultimately, you know, get him... I was like, that was weird. And then, but what was weird was then by the end of the movie, she's like totally shifted, like completely. And it's like, this is not the same person that would, you know, plan to kill yourself just out of spite. You know, she seemed like way smarter after that. You know, she seemed really emotional when the first reveal first came, and now then towards the end, she feels like she's like totally like way smarter and like level-headed or.
Well, she
like,
was
not
really,
level-headed, but still crazy, but, you know, like, ready to use her wits.
Kind of logical or whatever.
Yeah, less emotional.
She seemed very vindictive in the sense that, okay, this big plan of mine didn't work, so all of this, the diary, the faked death, all this kind of stuff, is all about punishing him for what he did and how he didn't play the part that I wanted him to. So, but when she's got the neighbor... the white trash neighbor that she's with and her loser boyfriend and all this kind of stuff, and they're watching the news, and she sees something in him, in his sort of on-screen persona, his performance, that switch flips, that she says, oh, okay, wait a minute, he is playing a role, and I do see that maybe he can be this guy that I thought. When she goes back with Doogie Howser, and she's with him again, and she sees the Sailor Ward big expose interview, the one-on-one thing that they do on the couch, and he's in full-blown publicity, putting on a good face for the crowd mode, then she has that little smirk, and she's like, good job, you're back in the game. And that's when she commits to saying, yeah, I'm going back, we can make this work.
Wow, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, I think that, because I know another review that I was watching from someone who read the book, which I have not, because as you all know, for viewers of this channel, I don't read. So, and this is obviously the kind of movie you wouldn't want to read the book, to be fair, because it would be like...
Not nearly as enjoyable.
It would be like me watching Sixth Sense after someone told me he's dead the whole time. Not nearly as enjoyable a film.
Oh, yeah. And this has so many big reveals in it.
Yeah. But they were saying that apparently in the book, there's a lot more character build-up and development in that part of it, of the story, with the friend and the sister and all this kind of stuff. And that was maybe, in the film, it seemed like it was a little superfluous, like they didn't quite need all that. But then when you realize it was fairly integral, because that's what changed her mind, where she takes off that Post-it note and saying, okay, I don't have to kill myself. I can take this a different route. Yeah.
Oh, and whenever she goes to Neil Patrick Harris's house, at that point, I had no clue what to think, like where the story was going. I had no clue, like what was going to happen, or who I was even supposed to be. Who's the main character anymore?
Was that part of the plan from the beginning, or is she just winging it? Which I think at that point she essentially was, because you see her with the change and calling him up and everything. And my initial impression when I saw her calling someone, you don't know who it is yet, I was like, does she have a partner in crime that she's been doing this with the whole time that we're about to reveal? Twist. And I thought, I bet it is Neil Patrick Harris, and because he's the creepy guy. Yeah. He's been in part of this, and they're framing it together, because remember, he was the first guy that she screwed over, basically. Yeah. And I'm like, they've been doing this for years, but no, he was her fallback. Yeah. And she's like, I think she just thought of that.
Yeah, I think she just thought of that, just right there. But yeah, I didn't realize that whole progression thing. That's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, like by the point that she goes there, that was just crazy. I didn't know. We didn't know where the story was going to go from there. But then it just takes so many turns from there. She decides she wants to go back. Then she starts like hurting herself, like tying herself up and stuff, and like hitting herself.
Yeah, the thing with the hammer, you laughed, but I was like, oh, and like the guy behind me laughed because I like flinched from it. But
that's why I laughed, because you were like, this is obviously coming. How are you surprised?
I know it is, but it's one of those things. It's kind of like there's certain things where even in a horror movie or whatever, when you know you're going to see uncomfortable, painful scenes, you're like, some things just get to you. It still
surprises you?
It's not that it surprises me. It's like when someone pulls out a tooth. It's just something that it makes me cringe, and I'm just like, ugh. And if you've ever been like hit in the eye, it's one of those things that makes your eyes water and your nose tense up, and it hurts throughout your face. And she takes a ball-peen hammer, just bam, knocks herself back, and I'm like, oh.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, that was a rubber prop hammer.
I'm sure it didn't actually do that, but that actually made me think of it later in the film. I'm like, as far as continuity's sake, guaranteed she's got some sort of fracture there, and she hasn't gone to the hospital. I guess she's got swelling.
Cheekbone fracture.
You don't just walk that off.
Oh yeah, by the next day, like the inflammation is going down. It's like a faint imprint. But no, I was talking about when she starts hurting herself at Neil Patrick Harris's house.
Yeah.
I was like, what is she doing? Where is she going? Okay, obviously she's going to frame this guy, but how is this all going to tie in and stuff?
Yeah, and because we know there was the guy from New York that Nick Dunn, Ben Affleck's character, talked to. Because Neil Patrick Harris blew him off, but the other guy talked to Scoot McNairy. He talked to him and basically laid it out. Look, this is what happened, and this is how she got me, and all this kind of stuff. So that helped me, when we were watching. she starts doing the type, and I'm like, okay, she's going for another frame. But yeah, it was like, okay,
I still didn't know like what was
she...
her end game. Yeah.
Yeah, I did catch from the sort of odd chemistry that they had that, okay, he's obviously trying to get back with her. This guy's obviously a little
yeah, because from the get go, he's like already trying, like the first time they meet.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we're gonna date. I mean, eventually, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like this is gonna happen. You need to move on. Like as the whole thing is still unfolding. He's like, yeah, you need to get over this. And I'm like, I want to simmer down a little bit. But then again, that also makes you think, okay, two crazies make it work, maybe? Maybe they're a good fit for each other? I
thought maybe they were going to be in cahoots for the rest of the movie or something.
Yeah.
But that was just, like, so brilliantly terrible when she comes back, you know, like, messes up the shirt and stuff and, like, has all the film.
You know what that it reminds me of? The detective first interviewing Nick Dunn, saying, "Ooh, type A personality. that can be tough to live with a type B." That's why it couldn't have worked out with the Neil Patrick Harris character, because she's the one who's in control of all this situation. If he starts to try to run the game and everything as the lead crazy guy, that ain't gonna work. She's top crazy. Okay, you can't out crazy. Okay,
too much crazy from one roof.
Yes. Okay, which, by the way, kudos to Neil Patrick Harris's character. You apparently have done well for yourself. Heated tiles throughout the house. Not bad.
Heated tiles. That seems like dangerous. What if water seeps in there and you just like...
Or if it shorts out, how do you get it? Do you have to rip up the floor?
I guess so.
It seems like an expensive repair.
Yeah. But anyway.
Anyway.
Back to the movie. So that was a big... I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. She's going back home?
Yeah, and without showering... by the way.
Yeah, she's in the hospital and nobody ever wipes her. Nobody ever wipes her.
No.
The whole movie.
The whole time Nick Dunn is like, someone else's blood? That's fine. Come here. Give me a hug.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
we've
pretty
got
sure a hospital
Ebola
would give you a
outbreak.
sponge bath or something.
Yeah, after she was in the... Okay, I get it when she's there, she's, quote, traumatized and whatever, and he doesn't care, he's gonna love her anyway. Once you're in the hospital and they've got IVs in you and they've done tests, nobody wipes you down?
Yeah, somebody's gonna give you a sponge bath or at least a baby wipe or something. You know what I mean?
This is like the same hospital that mishandled the Ebola guy or something. Like everybody's not completely trained.
Or at least they would have given Ben Affleck a baby wipe and been like, "Here, man, you want to clean your wife off?"
Some Purell.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was this is whenever the score really kicks in and like it works perfectly because. Whenever their interactions with each other after she comes back, and you're just like...
It's like mood music for each scene.
What am I supposed to be feeling right now? I don't know. You know, are they going to try to... Is he going to try to make up with her? Like, she's crazy. No, he can't. And the music is just, like, so ambiguous with its tone.
Oh, yeah.
There was that one, like, bathroom or... they were, like, in the hallway closet or something. And
back at their house.
Back at the house. And he's, like, walking up slowly to her, you know... And you don't know what you're supposed to be feeling, and the music is just so perfect right at that moment. That's when I thought the music worked the best right at that moment.
But there's some sort of tension in like every scene. You know, the one where they're in the hospital and all the cliche like FBI men are trying to be so empathetic and this poor damsel in distress, and you take your time, and the detective, who of course is a bit wiser and smart enough to be suspicious, is trying to ask her questions, and she and Rosamund Pike are really playing off each other and sort of jousting one another verbally and be like, "Can I go back to the man who tried to kill me?" and everything, and the guys are like, "Let her finish." You know? I mean, that was. They were sort of cliche characters, but it sort of their clichéness sort of elevated like the intellect of the cop and making her look smart. It was really cool.
And you know that kind of bugged me later on because like whenever she just gives it up, and Nick is like trying to get I get Tyler Perry.
Like, nothing that I can do.
Yeah, I get Tyler Perry leaving. Okay, that's fine, but her
with Tyler Perry with one of the best lines of the movie.
Oh, where he's like, she may have done you a favor.
No, where he says, "You two are one bleeped up couple." It's like, yes, they are one seriously messed up couple.
No, but my favorite line of his was whenever he was like, yeah, go home, write a book. maybe she did you a favor or something like
Yeah,
that.
book,
And I was like,
book, movie deal, Lifetime movie, whatever.
I was
You're
like,
set.
you're so right, but this is so weird though. Still, like I'm thinking myself in that situation.
Sure,
like, yeah, you're right. Actually, I would be thinking about like writing a book or something.
This guy.
But my wife's a murderer.
Priorities, book deal, murder's wife,
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump now to the end.
Yeah, I mean, the end, okay, this is obviously an ending that is crafted to leave you walking out of the theater thinking, what do you do? Like, what would I do in that situation? It leaves you with a moral dilemma, because this guy, who is far from perfect, does still have he's got inherent good qualities to him, whereas she appears to have no good qualities. She's just bat-dung crazy, if you know what I mean. Okay, she's just nuts, way too intellectually gifted and sneaky and treacherous and everything to ever go to sleep with again and be relaxed and comfortable and at ease.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure he's got a box cutter somewhere in the house. I mean, how do you get comfortable and relax around someone like that? But she reveals that she's pregnant, and he has the argument with the sister and everything, who also I think did a pretty good job, Margot.
Yeah.
Saying, look, I've got an obligation, I have a duty, I have a responsibility to care for this child. And it's one of those, we kind of debated after watching it. You got mustard on your chin. I'll edit that out.
Yeah, this is HD.
We argued about that. Like, does he kill her and take the baby? I mean, what does he do? Obviously, it's several months away before she gives birth. He can't just kill her and kill the baby. It's
also, you're left to assume that it is his baby, and she did have the sperm from earlier.
Yeah, and she says, from the get-go, he says, I want a paternity test and everything. And that doesn't really get resolved. We're left to, like you said, just assume, yes, it is his child. And she, figured out a way to make that happen. Turkey
maybe
based
it's
or
Neil
whatever.
Patrick Harris's.
You never know. I mean, they did it, so things happen.
So, sequel, Gone Girl 2, Get Goner. You never know. Maybe this could all be revealed.
This is... it's one of those movie endings that if you're like me and you tend to typically want an ending where everything gets resolved and it's tied up in a nice, neat bow, as I do like my movie endings to be, there is a temptation, I think, to initially feel a bit disappointed, but I, surprisingly to some people, was not disappointed with the ending, because you can tell the ending was consistent with the way the story was told.
That's true, I'll give you that.
Which is, you've got to think about it and kind of decide for yourself what happens and what should be done and everything, because there is no clear good guy, bad guy. There's a pretty crappy guy
girl.
And a really terrible girl, and it goes back to what I said earlier. If you are considering getting married, or if you are on the fence about commitment, having cold feet, don't watch this movie.
Oh my
this
gosh.
will freak you out and totally mess with your head.
But on the flip side, make sure you get a background check on whoever you're considering, because you never know. You never know. Am I right? If that movie's told us anything, it's that.
That is definitely, I don't agree with the message, but that is definitely one of the messages that the movie kind of tells the viewer.
You don't know.
That you never know
who you're
Anybody could be fooled, could be a psycho killer, and who are you to determine, Let's not judge, okay? Sometimes, beautiful women have their baggage, so...
Vicious, deadly baggage.
But that actually, let me just say this too. Visually speaking, I can't think off the top of my head of another female actress they could have got to play this role to have that look. Because even though there are other actresses that are very skilled and have been in movies where maybe we've seen more acting talent from them, because I wouldn't have expected this performance out of Rosamund Pike.
Mm-hmm.
But the look, she's very beautiful. And she plays that part, visually speaking, and in this, where she is the crafted China doll. She the fair but beautiful skin, the well manicured appearance, very physically fit, and all this kind of stuff. The
What's
physique
that
and
French
everything.
girl's name from Inception?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know.
But you know,
name, but I know who you're talking about. The French girl from
Leo's wife.
Yeah, the crazy wife that kills herself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she would have been pretty scary too.
She could have. I've never seen her in anything where she didn't have an accent though. Can she do an American accent?
I don't think so.
People.
Yeah, but see, Rosamund Pike is in that. She's at that place in her career where she's been around, but she's never like had like a really standout role, and I think that's probably what they were going for because they didn't want any of her past characters to play into.
Although Ben Affleck, he's not exactly an unknown, and he I think dove into this role very well. He disappeared into the character.
Well, I mean, for her, they wanted somebody that wasn't a household name. Now, David Fincher said that he actually picked him because he has had the experience in real life of being under intense media scrutiny.
Right.
At several points in his in his career,
Jiggly, all the press behind that,
and most recently, I mean, as Batman, I mean, this is
who are you to be the Dark Knight? Who do you think you are?
So it's kind of true. He did have a lot of experience. And
where's the bat suit, man?
Fun fact: the girl that wrote the book, her name's Jillian something. She actually wrote the screenplay for this.
Yes.
Is
There's a woman? I thought it was a guy. I thought it was a guy that wrote the film.
No, her name's Jillian. And fun fact also, she was a writer for Entertainment Weekly, and she got laid off. Just like Rosamund Pike did in
Is she
the
married?
book.
And does it need to be worried? Or
I think maybe so. So she is obviously a psycho killer.
Obviously. But you know what? Going back a little bit earlier in the film, the parents. They didn't show a lot of the parents.
Yeah.
My understanding is they're more significant characters in the book. They have a bigger presence. But from the little bit that we see of them, you definitely see, okay, I could kind of understand how a kid could grow up a little messed up in the head with parents like that. Like they were the annoyingly controlling, just do this, it looks good for the cameras kind of way. And as they talk about in the beginning with the whole Amazing Amy, and she kind of narrates that, she was never as good as this. I quit cello, she becomes a cellist. I quit this, Amy becomes this. Mm-hmm. She was brought up in a household where the success and the fame of her parents' work, their writing, was based on a manicured, perfectly crafted, sculpted, artificial presentation of what she wasn't. And that kind of, I think, developed into the psychosis that she had of whoever I'm with and who I am, we have to project this perfect couple, even though we're not. And when Ben Affleck stopped playing that role, that's when she turned on him.
Yeah. Well, if we're to believe her story, because all those flashbacks are told from her perspective.
Right. Yeah, but again, she got with him for a reason, He seemed with the clever little butt chin
nod to The Dark Knight.
With the little gestures like that and everything, it was like, oh, this is the man of my dreams, who may actually kill me.
Dun, dun, dun! But I was kind of dissatisfied with the ending, but I don't put too much, endings for me don't, make or break a movie. I mean, they can, but I feel like if 2/3 of the movie is fantastic, I mean, the ending...
It gets a 66.
The ending can only help the movies overall. It's not going to, ruin the movie if it ends in some weird way,
They did leave it open for a sequel, though, so...
Is there a sequel to the book?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. Please don't make a sequel to this.
If there is a sequel, Ben Affleck is not going to be in it.
No.
David Fincher is not going to be back for it, that's for sure. He's not going to... I don't think he's ever done a sequel.
This does not need a sequel. No.
Yeah. But anyway, we liked it. I gave it an 8.8 in the non-spoiler review. You gave it an 8.5?
8.5.
So, yeah, tell us what you thought. Feel free to spoil the movie in the comments below. And we will see you next time. Oh, and don't subscribe. Do not comment.
No.
Do not like the video.
We don't like that stuff.
This is just like an experiment type of a deal, so please do not do any of that at all. No matter how bad you want to, just resist, okay? All right, that'll do it, and we will see you next time.